Welcome. I am the original Brad from the Iron Age, WLJS Metal. I'm sitting here with Kimberly and
Junior
from One Eyed Doll here in Huntsville, Alabama. They are supporting Otep on the Destroy to Create tour.
That's right.
All right. A little background. Where are you guys from?
We're from Austin, Texas.
And how long have you been together as a band?
Well, I started some semblance of this project in 2005 or 2006, and but this lineup has been together almost 3 years.
Okay. And what were you doing before you started One Eyed Doll?
He's more interesting than I am.
I've always been into music, mostly my main interest was always production and recording. And I was always into the synthesizers and what was making all that cool, reverb and effects and stuff. Even when I was a little kid, that's what I was mostly interested in. So I've always been in bands. Mostly, I usually played guitar, but my main interest has always been production. So I owned a recording studio for many years, and that's how I met Kimberly.
I was, I had a lot of minimum wage jobs. Anything you could think of is one of my minimum wage jobs, from housekeeping to waitressing to, working in a factory to labor to, nannying kind of stuff. But my big focus was philanthropy. I was always really into volunteer work, and that led me to live in China for a while. And that's where I found my voice, was in China. I was sort of weirdly put in a position where I was forced to sing. And I had been shy before that, I'd never really sang in front of people or wanted to or be the focus of attention at all. And that broke me. And I decided that, and I'd always been a poet. I'd written poetry since the time I could write. And some of those poems had come out in melodies, but they were just playing in my head. I never would share them with anyone because I thought people would think I was crazy or something for what I was writing about, and I was very, very secretive about my poetry and my songs. But China sort of forcefully broke me of that, and I decided that if and when I came back to the U.S., that maybe I would sing my songs for people here. And went and saw my grandpa, who was a performer, and he gave me some advice and his old guitar. And so I started then. But so really, my whole world was volunteer work before music. And this is just as satisfying to me now.
Obviously, you're a lot more comfortable on stage now.
I get butterflies every single time. And then I'm so scared right up until I step onto the stage and the lights come on, and then it's my home. I feel more comfortable on stage than I do in real life. Sometimes I'm still kind of shy in real life.
When you stop being nervous before a show, it's over because
Right.
You've totally lost whatever excitement there was in playing music. So
Right.
there's never a time when I'm about to perform in front of people where I'm just not okay. And she's right. As soon as you hit that one, it usually just takes some, when we do an intro, the audience, wah, and then you're like, okay, this is going to be a good show,
So is there any rituals you do before the show to get rid of the nervousness then?
Not really. I guess the things that I do before the show are I'll stretch, get limber, as limber as I can be after an 8-hour drive in the van. And, my makeup, I basically cover myself in glitter. And I feel like once my lipstick goes on, funny as it seems, that's almost like my mask that I put on for the performance, that I'm ready to be on. And you'll notice if you interview me before I'm all dressed up, like right now I'm in my sweatpants and basically what I slept in, or afterward, I feel like maybe my attitude is different, I guess you could say. It's not like a character, like acting, it's still me. I'm just maybe a little hyped up and ready for the show. And so I think that's part of my ritual is just the costume and makeup.
So, what's been your favorite moment of this tour so far?
Oh my gosh.
That's a pretty hard one.
We've
a lot of
every moment. It's
yeah.
just been so awesome. There was definitely a moment when a lot of the stuff that we do that turns out to be a ritual thing at our shows are just improv, spur of the moment things that happen on stage. And then we just go with it for the rest of the tour. But the first time the crowd gave me a heavy metal yeehaw all at once was pretty fun. What city was that in that we started doing that? That was really fun.
I don't know. The whole yeehaw thing. There's this song that we do called "Be My Friend," and on this tour and a few of the other tours we've done it Texas style, right? So it's a little more hokey, But sometimes she just says yeehaw, and then one time out of the blue, the whole audience said yeehaw along with her, and it was just like, whoa, where did that come from?
Yeah.
And so now it's like, we kind of get them to do it, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got all addicted to it because I want to hear them say it. It's so funny when they do it. I love seeing a metal crowd say yeehaw. I don't know, just little things like that just happen on stage. I just love that. It never stops happening either, Every tour is totally different, and even every show, new things happen every single time because we don't really plan things out. Just do whatever we feel like. He doesn't even always know what song is next, so
I have no clue.
I don't give him a set list.
Yeah, I don't. Honestly, I have no clue what's going to happen at any given moment. Sometimes the songs are completely rewritten. Sometimes it's like, oh, we're going into a different song now, and she'll give me a look and and say something, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Okay, we're playing that song now. Great,
Yeah.
But it keeps it fun. It makes it really entertaining. Like a lot of bands that we tour with, their set list is very rigid. It's like everything is exactly the same every night, and they know exactly how everything is going to go. And I'm just really glad that we don't play like that. If the audience starts chanting a song, we can play that song. So
sometimes
if we remember how to play it.
It depends. I mean, for example, we're playing our really short songs on this tour, like short and fast, because we have a 30-minute set, which is almost nothing considering how much I talk. And I just goof around between the songs, and that takes up like half of the set. So, we're obviously not playing our ballads, and we've even kind of shortened some things down so that we can play some of our more popular, I put popular in quotation marks, songs, and fan favorites. And we've gotten into a little bit of a rhythm on this one. We've been doing a lot of Committed, Break. Plumes of Death has been really fun. We played that almost every single night. Some Nudie Bar, Be My Friend. And we kind of smushed Fight and Monster together to be like one super epic song so that we can fit them both in. Because we don't want to go over our time. We are literally here to help support Otep's tour, and we would never want to, go over our time limit or anything. So we really try to pay attention to keeping within that very tiny 30 minutes that we have to play out all of our, stuff. So, and we have, we played a 5-hour show once in New Orleans and didn't even get through all of our songs. We have a lot. We have a lot of songs.
That's good. You have quite a unique live performance. The best way I found to describe it was like a nursery rhyme tripped into a horror movie. Like, I didn't know what, I was not expecting it at all. But where do you draw the inspiration for your live show?
I don't know. I think it just comes out that way. Maybe it's just a part of my personality. It's just, I never really planned for it to be that way or studied anyone, The first performance I ever saw was when I was a little girl at a house party. It was my adopted grandpa, Bernie Jones. He was a performer all his life and a slapstick comedian, a musician, singer, anything, any and all entertainment. That was him. And he would put on this certain hat and became this character that he called Ole Svensson from Sweden. he'd have the accent and everything. And he'd play polka songs, And he spent 9 years in Vegas doing burlesque and vaudeville. And I think maybe some of that stuck in my head a little bit. And I think that's my main influence. I don't sit down and think about it ever or plan things out that way, but I think that's just how it comes out of me because that was my first exposure to an entertainer. And yeah, I don't know.
I can definitely see that. The hats. What can someone who's never been to one of your shows expect? Like, is there something that you always? What can they expect to see at one of your shows?
Oh, we pretty much just stand there and play quiet music, and sometimes I even sleep on stage. And Junior will do spoken word poetry, kind of in a low voice like this, very monotone. And, sometimes we will just turn on a television set and let people watch television. And invite people on the stage to sit down quietly and pretty much don't
Sometimes we do bring out the marshmallow roaster, though. And everyone can sit around with the roast marshmallows.
Yeah,
on
we don't
stage.
actually let them eat the marshmallows, though. They're, those are for us.
That's just cruel.
we have them roast marshmallows for us. And I get really upset when they don't do it right. I like it just slightly. I like it when you just barely catch it on fire and blow it out. But if you let it go too long, I usually will just throw them out of the venue. It's not acceptable.